I was always given the runaround, and I was always spoken to very rudely, or almost always dismissed by the city officials, like I was some kind of burden. They're really not interested in providing these funds, and I wasn't really sure why.
That's Harvey survivor Pratchett Bott describing his frustrating struggle to access federally funded relocation dollars through the city of Houston. Bott was among nearly 1,000 Houstonians evicted from their homes when the city bought 4 flood-prone complexes, again with federal money. Now, more than 6 years after the storm, the Texas General Land Office says only 15% of the residents eligible for substantial relocation cash actually received any aid via the city. Land Commissioner Dawn Buckingham told Fox 26 she is shocked by the city of Houston's failure to comply with federal law. Panel, the GLO is now hoping to contact residents directly who've been shortchanged and distribute some of the $200 million federal relief dollars the city has yet to access. Okay, let's start with you, Sue. You've talked to the GLO. What happened here?
Well, the monies didn't get distributed. And in order to distribute money to a lot of people, you have to really bring more people on to make sure that money gets distributed. If you're dislocated and you have to move, you have to go do that quickly, or else you become homeless. And so the problem was they were going, like this gentleman, to go get the money, but they were having a difficult problem getting the paperwork through, and all the people that came over, there just weren't enough people to handle it. I mean, I think we have to start now. Forget about talking about the past. We have a new day, new leadership, a new land commissioner, a new mayor that have a good working relationship with each other, and figure out how we now move forward and fix these problems and be able to communicate and move these problems forward in the way that they should have been.
Marcus, you're skeptical of the GLO's finger pointing.
Well, listen, let's start with this. I'm excited that the citizens of Houston will now get the relief. I happen to have personal friends, customers who were actually impacted by the lack of allocation of funds in the city and on the state level. So I'm excited that this opportunity will be there. But yes, I do have to say I'm glad that the GLO is attempting to change, because this is the same GLO that had about $2 billion sent back to the federal government because they didn't apply for in 2022, that they didn't do the paperwork to get the money for Harvey money. Then again in 21, where they allocated $0 to Harris County, to the city of Houston, from federal dollars for Harvey relief. 0. Meanwhile, putting money into non-coastal cities. So there's a history in that office of being partisan and not being effective. So I'm glad that right now there's a change in leadership, and there's hopefully a change in direction.
Charles, let's distinguish between George P. Bush, the former land commissioner, and Dawn Buckingham, who had a close relationship with John Whitmire as they served in the Senate. That could potentially be constructive?
No, certainly, and I think that's what the mayor ran on, was his relationships at the state level. But I do think there is some political gamesmanship going on both sides here, because if they didn't comply with federal law, we've seen the federal government come down on previous administration when it came to the Fountain View housing project, the CDBG dollars, things like that. So if they didn't comply, then why didn't the federal government say something? So if the GLO commissioner is saying that, then I'd like to know where that is. And then the same thing is, if they found these families, or they're searching for these families who didn't get the money, why are they just doing it now? I mean, it's on the city. The city should have done that, obviously, if the GLO is saying that they didn't. But if they felt they weren't doing it, why are they just doing it now? Shouldn't this have been done prior? You know, when that $140 million was clawed back from the city, I think it was last February when the administration met with the GLO. If they knew that was an issue, then why is it just happening now, I guess?
And to Gary's point earlier, where was council on this? These people have city council representatives. This should not be a search. This should not have been hard to find. These district representatives should know that. Yeah, you get where I'm going.
Yeah. I mean, we had people who were paid to get this money to these victims 6.5 years later, and it's still sitting in the bank. That's what's wrong. Okay.